Here in Canada, we've been such huge advocates for civil liberties, yet we seem to completely ignore the fact that we do not recognize the human rights of our unborn children. And with the recent public outrage with the overturn of Roe v. Wade, Justin Trudeau decided to step up and be the hero to let those poor Americans into Canada to get their abortions. Now, since our healthcare system is publicly funded, I wonder who's going to pay the costs. Well, it turns out it's going to be the pregnancy centers that will be covering the bills. Justin Trudeau's Liberal government is ignoring the pleas of some 15,000 Canadians who are demanding that the government not strip pro-life pregnancy centers of their charitable tax status. The Prime Minister's Finance Minister recently responded to the petitioners, telling them that despite their concerns, the Government of Canada is committed to taking action against pro-life organizations. Now, by removing the charitable status of these centers, they will no longer be able to support themselves on donations and will actually have to pay taxes to our government. So Trudeau is practically taking away pregnancy support services from our Canadian women and is using taxpayers' money in order to expand the healthcare services to accommodate for American abortions. And the irony of the situation is that these poor Americans will have to drive through a pro-abortion state in order to get to Canada. So let's take a look at what are the abortion laws in this country. Well, for the longest time, abortions in Canada were only used to save the woman's life in case of complications with the pregnancy. However, that got flipped on its head, and now Canada is the only country in the Western world without any abortion legislation, making abortions available at any time during the pregnancy and for any reason. And this is all due to the R.V. Morgentaler case. In 1988, the Supreme Court of Canada struck down Canada's abortion law as unconstitutional. The law was found to violate Section 7 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms because it infringed upon a woman's right to life, liberty, and security of person. And also note that Chief Justice Brian Dixon wrote, forcing a woman by threat of criminal sanction to carry a fetus to term, unless she meets certain criteria unrelated to her own priorities and aspirations, is a profound interference with the woman's body, and thus a violation of her security of the person. Now, this is a far-fetched implication from the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, since we're making the assumption that security of persons means we have the right to bodily autonomy. And since the woman has the right to bodily autonomy, therefore she has the right to take any medication or any medical procedure she likes. And since abortion counts as any other medical procedure, therefore women have the right to abortion. But regardless of the case, the ruling still stands and cannot be refuted since we do not recognize the rights of unborn children in this country. So we do not have an abortion issue. We have a human rights issue in our hands based on the definition of a human being in Canadian law. A child becomes a human being when it has completely proceeded in a living state from the body of its mother. So an unborn child is not actually considered a human being under Canadian law, and therefore it has no protections under the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. So do Canadians actually support such lack of legislation on abortion? Well, the MP for Yorkton Melville, Kathy Wegenthal, conducted a poll in October 2022, and it was found that 52% of Canadians would be more likely to vote for a political party that promised to legally restrict sex-selective abortion. And in addition, annual polls conducted by Legger Marketing and Environics from 2002 to the present have consistently shown that Canadians do not support the status quo. A total of almost 2/3 of Canadians think human life should be legally protected sometime prior to the point of birth. A 2011 poll shows that 26% of Canadians generally think that abortion should be illegal during the first trimester, 58% think it should be illegal in the second trimester, and 77% think it should be illegal in the third trimester. So clearly, the majority of Canadians want to recognize the human rights of our unborn children. However, if we were to restrict sex-selective abortion tomorrow, for example, it would be impractical because people would still get abortions and lie about their reasoning. So nothing will change until we reopen this debate and we provide protections for our unborn babies under the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. To hear more on this topic, check out our live stream on Roe v. Wade, link in the description.